video. Today I'm going to be doing a quick video on how to make a Kydex sheath from the perspective of someone who's never done it, because I never have done it. I just made a quick video on how to do a Kydex press. It's just a really pretty simple process. There wasn't a whole lot involved in this other than buying a couple of foam pads off the internet. And then I just kind of used some scrap wood and a couple of hinges that I had laying around. But you can check out my page for a quick video on this. It's like a minute long. Anyway, we're going to be using this today, and bought a couple of squares of Kydex. Now I have this one already pre-cut kind of to the size that I think we're going to need. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this in our preheated oven. I've got it preheated to about 350 degrees, and we'll let it get kind of floppy, and then we'll fold it up in the knife, throw it in the press, and see what happens. All right, I have the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and while we're waiting, we're going to be using this blue painter's tape to put over top of the blade. I am told that putting a few pieces on either side of this will kind of help give it some clearance for when you go to fold it. That way it has a little bit of wiggle room to get out of there. And I'm hoping that that will allow just enough room for the knife to come out where you're not having to fight it so much. So I'm just going to throw a few pieces on each side of the blade here, and yeah, then we'll be ready to probably put our piece of Kydex into the oven and get it floppy and give it a quick press. All right, now that we have the tape put onto the blade, I think it's also probably worth noting that because this is my first time doing this, I have my press right here. It's just right outside in the garage, and the oven is just through this door. But I have this relatively close to the oven, and I have the clamps already sized out to where we can close this up and quickly get them on there. And hopefully it'll be a pretty quick process where I'm not wasting a lot of time trying to get these set up. So hopefully that will help out. All right, so here we are in the kitchen. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and we're just gonna throw it in. And I have absolutely no idea how long this is gonna take. Anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes, maybe more, I have no clue, but I do kind of get an idea of what I'm going to be looking for the consistency. So I'll cut it back on when we have it nice and pliable, and we'll get it pressed. All right, so it has been in the oven about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. We're coming up on about 2 minutes. I'm going to go grab it and fold it around the knife and get it into the press. I just checked on it at about the minute mark, and it's definitely starting to get loose. I just want to make sure that it's heated up, you know, pretty good. So we'll go pull it out and see what it looks like. And it definitely is pretty floppy. Pretty floppy and good. We got it in there, and we're going to give it a quick press here. I've got that one on, and then I've also got this one on. go. So now we're just going to let it hang out in there for about 10 minutes and then we'll pull it out and see if it worked. All right, so it's been about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and I've got my little helper down here getting ready to pull off the clamps and just to check it out and see what it's like. Earlier when we were shooting the video, I said, hey bud, we're gonna shoot a video. Do you mind keeping it quiet for a second? And he said, sure, no problem. So then he was quiet. And then when we were done filming, he said, can I talk now? And what did you do after that? After I said yes, what did you do?
I don't know.
You don't know? He said, can I talk now? And I said yes. And he goes, yeah, I can talk now. He was very excited to talk. Yes, not talking for a minute and 30 seconds is a lot for a little guy like this. Anyway, he's my helper and we're going to be pulling these off here. Go ahead and give this a pinch and let's take it off real quick. There you go, good job. There's one. All right, and then this one you might have to stand up on the step. Stand up here on the step and you can unscrew this one. I got it on pretty tight, but ooh, he's a tough guy. There you go, keep twisting. Good job. I was going to take this out in about 10 minutes, but I decided to give it a few more. It's probably been 15 minutes. So now that Quinn has the clamps off, we're going to open it up and see what it looks like. Go ahead and open it up. Woo! That thing is on there good. All right.
Oh,
Hey, check it out.
can I touch it?
Yeah, it's still a little warm. Be careful.
Oh.
Still a little warm, isn't it, from the oven? I'd say for our first attempt, that went pretty good. He's giving it the old wave test. All right, let me see it here, bud, so we can show it in the video.
Sorry.
All right, so this is the first time me pulling it out and checking it out. I think that that's pretty darn good. You got clear definition along the blade, and even some of the texture from the rock pattern in the handle showed up in that. So definitely cool for my first attempt. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and bring this back in to the workspace and proceed with putting in eyelets and trimming off the excess and shaping this thing. All right, so now we're back out in the shop and we're going to be just kind of tracing out the profile with a pencil so we know kind of where to cut off this extra. And I'll probably be spacing out the eyelets maybe 3/4 of an inch or so, maybe an inch apart, something like that. I don't really have a belt clip picked out necessarily. I have an extra one off of a gun holster. I might try hooking this thing up. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and trace this out and then we'll get the holes drilled and get the extra stuff of this cut off. All right, so I decided to go ahead and space these out about 1.5 inches. And I've got 1/4 inch eyelets, so I believe that means I need a 1/4 inch hole. So we're gonna go ahead and drill them out and then we'll cut out the excess. Number 5. So that went pretty well. Not a whole lot of leftover pieces on it. Just using kind of a normal drill bit, and I've got my drill press set at a really low speed. And I think that probably helped keep it from getting too hot. Now we're going to take it over to the bandsaw and we're going to trim off the extra. So there we go. Now we kind of have a rough profile cut into it, and I'm going to take a few minutes to clean up all the goo, and we'll give it a test fit. Alright, after putting it on the belt grinder for just a second to clean up some of the goo, I gave it a quick test fit, and it is incredibly tight. But I believe that that's probably because we don't have this area cut out enough. You go to put it in, and it kind of wants to get caught up on there. So I think we're just going to have to take a little bit more of a dip out of here. And this is probably something that you'll kind of have to play with just to get right. So I don't want to take too much off though, so I'm just going to go slow, take a little bit more and see how it works, and we'll cut it back on once I think that I've gotten it right. Alright, so I think that we got this thing fine-tuned. We went ahead and we took a little bit more out of this area here and just kind of smoothed it out some. I also used a blow dryer to kind of heat this area up some. Just where pretty much the handle kind of comes into initial contact with this. And now that we have done that, we got a really good click in there. It's definitely in there and fairly easy to pop out of there. Now I don't have the eyelets in just yet into the sheath, but once we get them in there, it's still going to be relatively easy to get in and out. So yeah, I think so far so good. Now we're going to take it over to the workbench and we'll put our eyelets in. I think we put the already done one on the bottom on this little thing. Pretty sure. And then we're going to take this thing, put it over top, and give it a few whacks with the hammer. Alright. Alright, I can kind of start to see it mushrooming out. Okay, well that one didn't work all that well. So I don't know if you can see that or not. It's just, it got a little bit smushed on this side, just a tad. So I'll have to, I'll have to be careful on these next few here that I have this tool lined up good. But I guess that reiterates the point of I'm glad I put the pretty side facing out. Alright, cool. That one went really well. I think probably just taking our time and making sure that it's lined up. And yeah, I think they'll go in a little bit better just taking your time. This one's not terrible, and it's not like it's really noticeable. Just a tiny bit there, and I'm okay with it. This isn't a knife for somebody, it's for me, so I can live with that. All right, there's another good one. although I could give this one more good whack over here. There we go. And the last one. All right, cool. So yeah, now those are in and starting to look like a sheath. All right, so here we are to this point here. I decided to go ahead and take this eyelet out of there. It just did not look very nice. Now, is this sheath perfect? No, of course not. It's my first one. And it, you know, for the shape of the blade, it's kind of goofy looking. Does it work? Absolutely. And could I just use it like this and would it be functional? Of course it would. And I might just put it on my belt and try it out today at work and see what I like about it, see what I don't like about it. But I think that, you know, from a beginner's standpoint or a view, the one thing that I would really pay attention to if you're trying this out for the first time is this area up in here where, you know, it basically has the retention. You're really going to have to play with that a little bit as to how much you take out and also how much or how close you put your eyelet, you know, this way or this way and this way. That all kind of, you know, it basically just it decides the retention. You know, like before I put the eyelets in here, I was pinching my finger here and pulling it in and out and it seemed fine. But when you put those eyelets in, they really do apply a lot of pressure. And I was able to get it in and out, but it was super hard and I don't want it to be super hard. So, you know, that's something that I would pay attention to. I just have a little clip on here that will work for now. I was kind of just messing around with an idea, you know, and this is purely aesthetics here, and really is up to you, but I was thinking maybe I could take the top hole out by cutting out just underneath of this top hole to get rid of that. And then maybe even cutting off the corner down here. And I think that, you know, that might look a little better. It would certainly get rid of this hole here that we don't necessarily need if we just kind of swoop down below it. And then it would also get rid of this area here that just kind of looks out of place because it's not doing a whole lot for the knife blade. So I'll probably go ahead and just do that. Actually, I think it's going to look better, and I don't think it's going to affect the function of this. All right, so we now have a completed sheath. I went ahead and trimmed off the horn that was here and took out a little bit more here to get rid of that unused hole. And it is a beauty. It comes out fairly easy, goes in with a good click, and it is in there really good. This whole project was really pretty awesome. It was inexpensive. It didn't take a ton of time. And at the end of it, we have a really cool sheath for one of my first knives that I've ever made. And I know this isn't the prettiest thing in the world, but it's functional. And it's way, way better looking than this sheath. This is my, I think it is my very first leather sheath. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's hideous. And yes, it does hold this knife, and I made it for this knife, but yeah. It's one that I wasn't super proud to put on my belt and be like, hey, y'all, I made this. Aren't I awesome? So, yeah, we're going to put this one away and use it for something else maybe, and we'll just stick with this one. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm glad you guys tuned in, and we will catch you on the next one.